We're going to be removing the fuel injection system from this Honda Civic. It's going to be the same process for a lot of older Hondas. In this case, this is a 90 Honda Civic. Remove the air supply coming from the air box. And pull it off of the breather tube that's connected to the valve cover. There's just a spring holding it on here to the air box. There's 4 bolts holding this on, 2 in the front and 2 in the back. With a 12mm swivel socket, I'm able to get past the edge of the top of this. It's definitely pretty tight, even with a swivel socket to get it in there. It likes to work itself off, but luckily this top piece here can sort of flex, and that can give you more room. The one here in the back is a lot easier to get to. Just watch the windshield. This last one's a little bit tight, but it's no problem with a swivel socket. The whole assembly now shakes freely. It's just a matter of disconnecting hoses and different wires to get it to lift off. We'll start removing these clamps. Just pull them off. By twisting back and forth, you can get some of these lines that are a little bit more stuck on. Disconnecting the wire is really easy. There's just a tab on the bottom you pull up and then pull out. Remove this wire connection the same way. Remove the next hose. This wire is removed the same way, just by pushing down there and lifting up. Sometimes these rubber hoses can be really stuck on there, so if you just grab it with a pair of pliers and work it back and forth, that'll kind of break some of the corrosion that might have been there, and then it pulls off a lot easier. Remove this wire clip just the same as all the others. Just loosen up this throttle nut, and then the whole assembly sort of just lifts up and out from that bracket. This fuel banjo bolt is one of the last things holding this on. If you get a pick in the area we were trying to take this off, it can be a little bit more aggressive on the tube, but you can see it really does help pry that off and break it loose. And there we go. We'll sort of pull this up so we can get better access to some of those tubes in the back. We can lift up that gasket. Now we've got access to some of these hoses in the back, but still it can be pretty tricky to get to. I'm gonna need to use the pick here to kind of get underneath and kind of work it around. And using the pliers to twist, wow, that came right off. We can kind of swing it up here, and it's still connected by a fuel line here and a throttle connector right here. Lift up one of those spring connectors. This fuel hose is really stuck on here, so I'm gonna free it up from that clamp and see if I can work it around and break it. Last resort is just to snip the hose, try to get it as close as you can, because this one is really stuck. There it is. This throttle cable is connected to a little piece of metal here that kind of swivels on it, and on the assembly here there's a little groove right where that slides back and forth. If you line that wire up with that groove, you can push this whole piece out, and then this whole assembly is going to become disconnected. Now that everything's disconnected, the whole assembly can be lifted out of place.